Hey roommates, what's up? What's up? We done made it to episode 3. We done made it to episode 3, y'all. So, I got my computer tonight, and we are going to, I'm going to be able to be more interactive with y'all and just answer any questions. Tonight is officially a family meeting. And I want you guys to be interactive. Hey, how are you? Hey, Danny. So, first thing first, I want to give you all some updates. We have been knocking it out of the park, right? You guys have been sharing everything. You guys have been supporting. You guys have been just the perfect roommates. And for that, I want to say thank you. For our YouTube channel, we have gotten up to over 20 followers, right? We're not at the 500 mark yet. I mean, the 50 mark yet, but we will be there in the 500 and the 5,000 and all of that good stuff too. So make sure that you are, you guys continue to tell people about our platform. And hey, y'all, I see everybody. Hey, I see the hearts. Hello. Hey, Peaches, I see you, girl. Thank you for joining. And so I wanted to give you all an update, though. We have, for episode number 1, we are officially at over 1,000 views, like over 1,200 views. So kudos to us. And then for episode 2, we are officially at just about 1,000 views. So it is exciting to be doing this with you all. And when I tell you nothing brings me more joy than to be here and to be able to do this, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So, of course, you guys seen the invitation, right? The invitation to the family meeting. And I wanted to make sure that we are being all inclusive, and we're talking about the things that we need to talk about as roommates, right? So with that being said, hey Tyra, hey Cheryl, hey y'all, thanks for the hearts, thanks for joining. And just give you guys the updates about what it is, the numbers that we are making. So let's not worry about how many join us live. I want to do this live with you all so that it can be interactive. But I also want us to be mindful that this is not going in vain. Over 1,000 people are viewing these podcasts and these messages. So yeah, I'm excited, and I hope you are excited right along with me. So can you guys read my shirt? Like, this is the first message for us today, right? I want all of you ladies to know that you're her. And for the fellas, you're him. Bottom line, act like it. Note to self. We have to start giving ourselves like those affirmations. It's extremely important. And we have to know and understand and recognize our worth. And that's how we will be able to just go through life not needing that validation from other people. Remind yourself of who you are. And I think everything else will fall in place, and own it and believe it and know it to be true. And you can best believe that the mindset will shape itself around those motivational, inspirational, and encouraging words, right? So today we are going to talk about navigating healthy and unhealthy boundaries. So this is a topic that many of you all have really asked and say, hey, why don't you talk about boundaries? And not just talk about the boundaries, right? But actually how to navigate in those boundaries, right? And, you know, we'll get into some definitions and we'll do all of that good stuff. But we definitely are going to learn just about navigating in relationships and our very own boundaries, be it healthy or unhealthy, because we really do have to own the boundaries that we put in place, and they have to be consistently followed across the board. So when you all think about boundaries, Can you drop a couple of notes in the chat and let me know, what do you think about when you hear the word boundaries or boundary? Hey, bestie. Thanks for joining. Okay, so let's just dive on in. Please make it your business to leave any comments, and I will definitely address them as much as as we go along, right? So before we get into all of like the clinical and general definitions, we really need to understand contextually the purpose of setting boundaries and understanding what boundaries are. But before we do that, I want to remind you all that Psalm 147:14 teaches us boundaries bring peace. When we establish boundaries in our lives, we create a space for peace and order. So it is essential that we set boundaries, because if not, so many negative things. Hey, Black. So many negative things, unwavering limits and standards. Yes, standards, your limits. Absolutely, Danny. So you guys get the concept, right? So what we're going to do today is try to learn some contextual things that we can take for ourselves on how to set boundaries, how to apply them, and how to really kind of stand on that, right? Because that's what we want to do. So to you all's point, right? You guys definitely know what you're talking about. A boundary is when you draw the line that marks your limits. A dividing line that helps us determine what is or is not okay in a relationship. And this goes for family members, friends, co-workers, intimate partners, children. It just really doesn't matter. You have to set those boundaries, right? So in a relationship, boundaries help us to define what you are comfortable with and how you want to be treated by others. They are the limits and rules that we set for ourselves in relationships. So let's be honest, by show of hands, how many of you guys struggle with setting boundaries and or getting people to kind of follow those boundaries, if you will? Any struggling with boundaries? Because I know I've struggled to set boundaries, and I've also struggled to kind of have people to adhere to them, right? It's like everything else. It's a process, and people have to be willing to adhere to it, or choose the consequences. And I know consequences sound negative or even punitive, but the fact of the matter is, it's you, it's your life. You know how you want to be treated. I'm sure that you are giving what you are expecting, right? Because a person that's setting boundaries generally have some foundational understanding of what boundaries are. And so with that being said, you really want to make sure that you are consistently kind of drawing that line in the sand, if you will, and just letting people know, like, hey, we're not doing this. So Sean says it depends on the relationship that I have with that person. Well, Sean, I would love for you to kind of expound on that a little bit more, because in a sense, I think I understand what you're saying when you say it depends on the relationship that you have with the person. Two things came to mind when I read that. So sometimes a person comes in already and they may holistically understand and have boundaries set for their own lives. So it's certain things that they're just not going to do. So you may not have to be like, listen, don't do that with me, right? But in a sense, so that's one understanding of what I get from that, Sean. But the other thing too is, if a person is doing things in your space that you cannot relate to, it's bothersome that they do that, or you're really confused by a person's actions, then you definitely have to kind of go in that mode of like, we not doing that, right? You have the right to tell someone in your life, We're not doing that. Like, I'm not going to do it to you, and just please don't do it to me. Everybody ain't going to take it kindly or nicely. I've had people, as I am growing, as I am healing, as I am developing, I've had people where I've had to start to set those boundaries, right? And it's like, I don't want to do this, whatever we're doing anymore, right? I would prefer if you respect me a little bit more. I would prefer if you not say those type of things to me. I would prefer, and you just throw out your preferences. And then I've had people to tell me like, well, who are you to respect? Who are you to respect? A human being. You should respect anybody that you encounter, right? Like that's just should be humanity 101. Respect everybody, because everybody has self-worth, no matter what they're going through, no matter what their circumstances look like. You have to be understanding of that, right? Hey, sister. Hey, Tracy. Hey, Auntie Annette. So yes, you have to really be mindful of that. So, maybe what is one of the craziest things that someone may have said to you when you tried to kind of draw that line in the sand? It's like, hey, we're not doing this. Like, I don't want to do this. I love to read some of that. Sean says it's harder for me with family members. It's absolutely hard with family members. It is absolutely hard with family members, because family members are the ones that have the audacity, right? Family members, though they love you, they expect that you are treated the way that they decide that they're going to treat you, right? And sometimes the treatment is blanket, right, across the family, where one person treats everybody kind of like the same way, and unfortunately we make the excuses for them, like, oh, that's just such and so and so. Well, I don't do that's just such and so no more in no part of my life. Family member, friend, child, look. It's certain things I'm not going to do to you. Certain things I'm not going to say to you. Please don't do it and say it to me. And if you do, then the consequences are what I set them to be. It's funny because a lot of people sometimes think that the only thing you can do and the only thing you got control over is like to stop messing with somebody, right? To kind of walk away from them. And that is because it is your right to stick around in something or not, right? Yes. Tell me about it, Vivi. Yes. Oh my God. So it is, y'all, it is so interesting when we ourselves make excuses for bad behaviors of others. But you have to draw those boundaries. So I guess we need to kind of move in the direction of how and why do we set boundaries, right? When you do, you become problematic. Yes, you become the problem. I had somebody to tell me that's near and dear to me, because I'll tell you like this. The only way you can hurt me is probably if you are family or friend. But if you have repeatedly hurt me, that's my expectation for you. So I'm not going to even give you that control when you're egging to try to do that, right? But someone told me, everybody got something to say. Everybody's got something to say about you because you the problem and you this and you that. And it's like, no, I'm not. Because I'm standing on standards, and because I am drawing that line in the sand and setting those boundaries and saying, like, I'm not doing this. I don't have to do this, right? I have a right in this just like you have a right in this. And I'm going to conduct myself in a certain type of way to where I don't want, like, I've always kind of been non-confrontational and all of that good stuff. But, hey, Shamika, I miss you too. And yes, Chantel, respect does go a long way. And it carries you a very long way. But you have people, your family and your friends, and those are the people who have ever truly hurt me. I ain't never been hurt by a stranger. Never. I just want to set that clear. So with that being said, you do become the problem when you are starting to set standards and set boundaries for yourself and for your life. Okay, so we're gonna answer the question of how and why do we set boundaries. So the how is by setting calm, firm, and clear expectations about what you need. You got to tell a person what you need, right? Because it's if you don't tell them, they don't know. So if a person is always cursing you out or wanting to get you in front of people and make you feel bad or doing these things that are probably unwarranted or could be handled in a different situation, then they will put forth that effort. But if they don't, you got to remain calm. You got to be firm. You got to be clear. Okay? What else we got? Okay, so also you have to have reasonable consequences for people that are crossing those boundaries. Can a few of you all drop in the chat like what are some consequences you can have if someone crosses certain boundaries with you? Of course, we know we can stop dealing with them, but what are some other ways that we can kind of set forth some consequences? What can that look like for us? I tell you one of the things that I think about, and I'm sure many of you have heard this statement that I'm about to say, but if a person doesn't recognize that your presence is the present or is a present, then you probably want to kind of disconnect from them, right? You probably want to make sure that this person doesn't care if I'm around one way or another. So with that being said, what is it that you can do to kind of instill and make it where a person needs to follow those the boundaries that you have set? So yes, VV, you can definitely completely cut them off. Deshawnette, space, time, right? You could be like, listen, let's just give this some time because this is yes, exactly, Tasha. You're Tasha says she prefer to cut them off. At the first time though, bestie, I don't know about because sometimes you can't cut people off, right? You do have the right. So let me back up and explain to you all what I mean by that. So my relationships that I have they're really near and dear to me. Even my family relationships that may not be as close and as tight as I want them to be. I feel I'm in that healing era where I want to understand everybody and like who they are. Like I want to believe them for who they are, but then also accept them for who they are. That doesn't mean not setting up boundaries. You still set the boundaries up, but you're less likely to judge them. You're less likely to be critical of them and like, here they come, right? And you accept them in that space that they're in. I'm past. I told y'all last week. I will hold a grudge forever, and it's not okay. I agree. It depends on when it's done and what the situation is. Some people do definitely, need to be completely cut off. Okay, I got a few more on here. So, wait a minute, Peaches, because you had a good one up here. Let me go up a little bit. It's kind of long, too. After you have grown and evolved, you want others to respect the person you have become. Ding, 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 ding. Bingo. Bingo. Because you still see me as this meek 19-year-old girl, but I'm actually a 46-year-old professional woman that has been holding my immediate family down and making big moves and growing and developing as an entrepreneur and move in a certain type of way. I don't know what to tell you about that irritating you. You have to look within when something that I'm doing is irritating you, right? So you're absolutely right. So people, that's a good one. That's a shout, Peaches. You also want others to respect the person you have become. So what you have entertained in the past, when you were younger, that ain't rocking over here today, right? It ain't rocking over here. And my thing nowadays is, if you do something to hurt me or to wrong me or to try to put me in an uncomfortable situation, my thing is just stand on it, right? If that's the way that you feel, please have your feelings, but stand on that, right? We ain't gonna go back and forth because I don't do too much of that, right? But what we have to understand is that you gotta allow people to be who they are, right? So Peaches, that's a good one. We're not expecting this behavior in our presence any longer. Can't do that over here. We're not doing that. Yep. Ain't no other way. You gotta let them go. Chantel say, just cut them off. Okay, Chantel, I hear you. I have been there, done that. Okay. Tell them until you can speak to me respectfully. I will no longer grace you with my presence and stand on it. That is key. Because see, what you're doing is you're stating the boundary that you want someone to follow. Like, please stop disrespecting me, right? So you made it clear what the infraction is, right? But you also told them, until you can treat me better, I'm gonna stay on away from you. And that's good, Sean. That's good. Because you've given them, girl, you've given them the rope to do what they're gonna do with it. I ain't gonna say what they're gonna do with it, but you've given them what they need to understand where you're coming from. So that's good, Sean. I like that. Yes, we have to have healthy conversations. We definitely have to have healthy conversations. Thank you, King Lamont. Thank you, baby. Appreciate you. Chantel says she be feeling like people are well aware of their actions towards others, especially if she see a person interacting respectfully to others. So now this one we're going to talk about intentionality. If you are so well poised to hold yourself together with your supervisor, with your coworkers, with your friends, but it's something about when you walk over in auntie such and so house, or when you come to the family function, or when you get around your sister, your brother, your cousin, you can't, that poise goes out of the window. Now who we playing with? And what are we doing? Right? Nope. We ain't doing it. We are not doing it. Yep. My sister Tanya, Miss Garrow Hicks said, I'm not accepting nothing but peace. Well, if you were here when I opened up, the Bible speaks about in Psalms 147:14 that boundaries are necessary, for it brings you peace. So, yes, ma'am. Setting a boundary will have you more peaceful with yourself, because if the person decides to walk away after you just simply tried to set up some boundaries, bye-bye, see ya. Gone. Because all they're going to do is go tell somebody something and switch it around. And you can live with that too. I promise you can. Okay. Tara said, I surely have to stand on it because too many chances ain't going to make them change. No. It's going to make them dig their heels in the sand. You're not going to make... I had somebody to tell me before, what's the difference between when I used to do it and what I'm doing now? There go that audacity I was just talking to y'all about. You want to keep mistreating me? Is that what I hear you saying? You enjoy it, don't you? Okay. Yeah. So, okay, y'all. So let me tell y'all, I go to note cards. Okay. There are 6, really 7. There are 6 types of boundaries, y'all. I'll drop a couple of them in the chat if you know. And don't go to Google. Let me see what y'all know. 6 type of boundaries. It's really 7, but 6 that mostly theorists talks about. Come on, what we got? Come on, y'all, before I get to Spilling the family tea. I don't see none yet. Okay, so, okay, Tyra said respect. I think that's a part of one of them. So here's the thing. Okay, you got emotional boundaries. Ding, ding, ding. You have physical boundaries. Hey, Niecy Pooh, look at my baby jumping in there. You got emotional, absolutely. You have physical boundaries. I'm gonna need you to, to respect my physical boundaries, my physical space. You have financial boundaries, right? We have sexual boundaries. It's some conversations a man ain't gonna even bring to a certain type of woman. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay? You have spiritual and religious boundaries. We have intellectual boundaries. Right? And then we also have the boundary of time. You know how some people be like, I don't play with my time. Right? And that's that whole notion of, okay, I'm not finna spend my time and my energy in a space where I'm not appreciated or welcome. Right? Not doing it. Yep, D. Yes. Mental Tamika. Financial Dishonette. Yep. I'm not spending my time in no spaces where I am not celebrated, where I am not heard, where I am not acknowledged, held in regard for, respected. The disrespect that I have endured in my years is really unspeakable. I try to treat everybody with so much kindness and so much regard, but that has gotten me nowhere. Because like y'all said, so many people want to cut you off, or you have to cut them off because of the things that they've done to you. And with my time, I got 46 years behind me. I don't know how many I got in front of me. I'm cherishing every moment. I'm not coming if I'm not invited. And I'm okay, because, we keep a calendar full of stuff up over here. But I'm just saying, that's the way you should be as well, right? Reclaim your time. Reclaim your energy. When people are not respecting you the way you want to be and the way you deserve to be, y'all know what to do. Okay? Time is precious. Period. All right. So I'm going to, okay, I'm gonna share. So I created, y'all, healthy and unhealthy boundaries, kind of side by side checklist, right? So I want to make sure that I see y'all comments while I'm reading this, because I want to remain interactive. So just give me 1 second. Okay. So let's minimize this. All right. So a healthy boundary is asking for what you want and need from those around you. You have to ask, and you have to define what you want and need from those around you, right? But an unhealthy boundary in the same, along the same lines is just expecting others to know what you want to need, right? You can't just sit back and expect for a person to know exactly what it is that you need. It just doesn't work like that, right? You have to let people know, but you can't expect for them to know if you've never had the conversation with them. I am so thankful, Tanya, to you for all of our calls offline, for all of your feedback. You mean the world to me. You are one of those people who have always respected who I am, no matter where I was in my life. So thank you, baby. Okay, so let's do another set. So a healthy boundary is being comfortable saying no. How many of y'all have always wanted to say yes to somebody? How many of y'all really just, like, it's hard to say no? That used to be me. That used to be me. And I was just reminded recently, someone asked me for something, and I just said no. And they were like, no. Like, just no explanation, no anything, no, I'll think about it. And I was like, no. And I was like, now that I think about it, and I said this out loud, I said, now that I think about it, no, it's kind of becoming my favorite, my new favorite word. Because you got to say no to people, especially if them very people wouldn't do it for you. Now, I don't count favors because I am favored. And I'm able to do above and beyond the things that I could even imagine I could do for people. And we're not even just talking about financially. I'm talking about emotion. I set myself aside to be there for people. I can be in the middle of a breakdown. But if certain people call me, they ain't gonna know nothing about what I was just going through. And I'm just showing up and showing out for mine. Because I know they'll do that for me. And the unhealthy boundary to that is saying yes to things that you really want to say no to. Duh. Now y'all know. Ain't no way. You should be saying yes to something that you really want to say no to. Draw that hard line in the sand. Okay? A healthy boundary. Feeling safe and valid when expressing your emotions. Safety and validation is key. If you're not going to feel safe in expressing yourself, you're more than likely not going to express yourself. I'm sorry, guys, because that's not funny. But if you don't feel safe, and if what you're going to say is not going to be validated by the person you're saying it to, shut up about it. Find your best friend to talk to about it. Because if it's going to fall on deaf ears, why say it? But the contrast to that is stuffing your feelings in order to keep the peace. We ain't doing that, roommates. We ain't doing that. We are not hiding our feelings to keep the peace. Y'all got me doing all this studying so I can bring y'all this literature. And I'm going to need y'all to take some of these words and recommendations and messages to heart. Because I study hard to come and say it here before y'all. The Bible says, study to show thyself approved. And mama be over here studying. Okay? Okay. Sean, that used to be me too, babe. Sister, you're learning how to say no. Because, baby, let me tell you something. You're one of the sweetest people I know. Juanita. Yes, ma'am. So I knew it has to be hard for you to say no to folks. Because some people are... That used to be me. My best friend, I think she tripped me into the land of no. She like, if you don't quit breaking your neck for people that wouldn't even put their toe in the water to come see about you, you had better. No. Do unto others as you want done unto you. Okay? Nope, not at all. I hear you, Tyra. Facts. No, ma'am. Don't stuff them feelings. Okay, so healthy boundary. Feeling equal and that you matter. That's kind of back to the validation part. Right? And then the contrast to that is feeling that others are more important than you. Let's stick a pin right there. Stick a pin. Let's stick a pin right there. The thief of joy, other than the devil, the thief of joy is comparing yourself to others don't do it. Because that will have you secretly hating the person that don't even know you doing that. Don't compare yourself. Don't compete in your relationships. You have to collaborate and communicate and understand that y'all need each other. You are partners in anything that you do. I partner with my children. I partner with my friends. I partner at work. I partner with folks to be an asset to them and not a liability. Don't go feeling like people are more important than you, because that'll have you in a space that is not okay. Okay? So let's not do that. Okay? Knowing that your happiness is not theirs. Your responsibility. You own that. And remember we talked about last week in forgiveness and stuff like that? Like, if we rely on external stuff, the stuff is the people, the stuff is the bags, the stuff is the money, the stuff is the man, the stuff is the woman. You remove those external factors, and now all your peace, love, joy, and happiness is gone. Work on you. Do the things that you literally have control over. And you will learn. You will learn that your happiness is your responsibility, and you will work on that. In contrast to that, you expecting somebody else to make you happy. Nope. Unhealthy. And unrealistic. Don't put that pressure on them people. Because if they wanted to make you happy, they would. Wink, wink. Yeah. We ain't doing that. Okay. Healthy. Knowing that you're not responsible for someone else's happiness. Hey, Peaches. Your happiness is an inside job. Do not relinquish that power to anyone. Listen now, you over there gonna make me shout, Chantel. Y'all speaking. Hey, Tabiana. Yes, it's true. And, right, knowing that you are not responsible for someone else's happiness. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of us are fixers. Or we think we fixers, right? So we really do it to ourselves. We really think it's our responsibility that everyone is happy. And a lot of times that's kind of like the people pleaser in us. I know some people that could give a hoot about somebody's, pleasing people. And as I've gotten older, as I've grown, as I've developed, as I've matured, I understand even that happiness piece in reverse. I can't make you happy. You got to be happy with yourself, and you got to be happy in this relationship. That's all that I can say about that. Okay? And then thinking that you can, the unhealthy part of that is that thinking you can change someone and make them happy. Y'all done heard that saying before. You ain't nothing you can do to make that man or woman stay if they don't want to stay. Nothing. Good. Now, Tatiana, baby, you'll get it. You would definitely get it. People pleasing is yesteryear. That's old news. It's old news. Because them very people that you will go out of your way to please, to make happy, to do anything for, them will be the very people that will hurt you, have no regard for you, reject you after you've given them your soul. Okay? No people pleasing. Lord, I needed this. Breezy, I'm glad I'm being used to give it to you, baby. Hey, Fee, love you. Okay, we almost done with this list, y'all. Healthy boundary. Be okay with disagreeing. Because I come to you and I'm like, I don't agree with you with what you're saying. That doesn't negate what their perception is or what their statement is. It just said that I don't agree with you. I am queen, agree to disagree. I'm queen, agree to disagree. Period. I don't agree with you. And I'm not going to argue with you about it. I don't agree. Okay? And then, but the unhealthy part of that is ignoring your own feelings. Sean, but I hear you say your favorite word now is okay. But see, okay can be a minimalization of things. It can be minimizing your true feelings. And if okay is not what you is, don't use okay in a situation where you need to be standing in it, owning it, and making a person follow them boundaries or get them consequences. We hitting people with consequences up over their head. Yes, we are. Okay? So I hear you, and again, this is great dialogue. I'm not saying it's bad. It's only okay if it's really okay. Because if you ain't getting your point across, you probably just want to be like, let me get up out of here. Let me not have this conversation with you no more. Let me recognize you for who you are, because you're not respecting nothing that I'm trying to do here. Right? You gotta know it. You gotta know who you are. You definitely do. It's okay to think whatever when you don't agree. I agree. I agree with that. Okay. The last compare and contrast is on the healthy side. Being comfortable changing your mind. Yeah, I was gonna go out Saturday night, but I ain't going tonight. I changed my mind. But the contrast to that is being afraid to express those thoughts and ideas. My best friend, old Tasha, honey, she'll tell you in a minute, I ain't going. And I used to be so offended. Like, girl, you don't ever want to go nowhere. But that's her, right? She is a beautiful spirit that picks and chooses what, when, and how she gonna move. And I appreciate that about her. She is really the first person that taught me about setting boundaries. Real talk. She used to tell me, like, you are too kind. You let them walk all over you. And I'm going to just tell y'all a real quick story on how I chose her as my best friend. Because I was in the middle of a really nasty, like, confrontational situation. And Tasha, at the time, we were just really hanging out. And she was there with me. And she intervened, and she was like, not today. We ain't doing none of this today or whatever. And I just looked at her because there was so many other people around as this was happening. And no one said anything. And Tasha, like, stood up for me. And this was my son 29, so this was 28 years ago because my baby was 1. And I looked at her in a different light from that, because I was like, she is helping up for me when I'm not even really helping up for myself. And when we walked off and we got away from the situation, she was like, F that. It's time for you to put your foot down. You don't quit going through this stuff. Like, you are, woo, 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 woo. So thank you, babe. You are the first person that helped me understand that I needed to set some boundaries for myself in my life, with my family members, with my friends. And I appreciate you for that, because I always looked at you like you were so, so strong. And I appreciate you for everything that you do. You really, really, really make me a better person. Not my little brother that joined. Hey, butter. Love you, man. True definition of a friend. They on Facebook, Tasha, because Tasha on Instagram, y'all. They saying they love you, Tasha. Yes. Yes, your yes should be a yeah, and your no should be a no. I agree with that. So that is the checklist, guys, on those healthy and unhealthy boundaries. If this helping somebody, put a heart, put a thumb, do something. Okay? Because, honey, we out here in these streets talking about navigating our boundaries, okay? So, one moment. So is there any other things about healthy or unhealthy boundaries that you all want to kind of like explore a little bit more, or y'all good? All right, so We have to be mindful, though, when we are setting boundaries. It can and will set up conflict in our relationships, right? Especially when we do not and have not set them up prior to today, right? That's why when I told you guys a little while ago, like, I had people telling me in my life, like, what's so different now? Who are you to respect? You know, it's mind blowing, right? That someone would feel like, who are you to respect? That's crazy, right? But still, that's what that means. So that's why it's essential. The first time someone does something to you that you don't appreciate and you don't feel appreciated or you feel disrespected, check it right then and there. It's going to be uncomfortable. I'm here to tell you, I'm having uncomfortable conversations every day almost. But you deserve that. Okay? Oh, Ash, thank you. Ashley said that I'm confirming the things that she's going on, and that is putting her right back on track. Great. Tyra said, I bit the nail off the head. I'm right, absolutely. Listen, most of this is brought to you by experience. Some of it is brought to you by literature. Okay? Because I'm going to give you guys literature for the simple fact that y'all need to trust that I don't gather you all here just to be spewing some foolishness. Right? So that's where, you know, it's key. So you guys are going to hear these things. So people automatically think that, like, you think you all that and you think you important and stuff like that when you start to set boundaries and set standards for your life. Remind them that you are important. And then just go on about your day, right? Because, yes, Tiffany Marie, experience is the best teacher. I said, I'm trying to sing the song about either last week or week before last, because experience is the best teacher. Better get these lessons and these blessings, because that's just definitely what you're going to get. Again, your presence is the present. You the gift. And when you are good, my pastor said this in church Sunday, when you are good, absolutely good to someone, you ain't lose them. They lost you. Don't you ever forget that. That's why I always put my best foot forward. Because if you walk away, you walked away. I ain't never unloved the person I love. And I ain't never in my life been too overwhelmed by losing someone. Because anybody that I've come in contact with, I've done something to enhance their life. Yep, I said it. And again, we ain't just talking about financial. You know how many conversations I done had till my mouth was dry trying to help people? I done sat on sidewalks, baby, with unhoused people and giving them the shirt off my back and never pulled out the camera to record it. I will do anything for anybody, but I will not be taken for granted. Okay? All right. And then, you know, for those people, honey, that feels like, I don't care about you cutting me off, they minimizing you, so get away from them anyway. They trying to disregard you, and you ain't to be disregarded. You are a human. You're not trash. So don't be discarded like you are. Stand your ground. Okay. But I have a question for y'all real quick. Doesn't it really hurt when you kind of go out of your way to be something for someone or be there for someone, and they just they cannot find the capacity to reciprocate? But not only can they not find the capacity to reciprocate, they start to feel a sense of entitlement on what you have done or what you are willing to do. Really, on this healing journey, guys, on your healing journey, remember this. You are going to disappoint yourself if you are expecting you in another person. Just continue to be the kind person that you are. Continue to be the wonderful person you are. Continue to thrive even amidst the drama and the BS. Set them boundaries. Be okay in setting those boundaries. And, you know, it's I promise you, it is going to work itself out, because reciprocity is key. And if a person cannot give you what you're giving them, respect them for that, understand where they're coming from, but then set your boundaries on what you're willing to give and share with them. Okay? You know, when we feel safe in relationships and boundaries have already been set, that's when we feel valued in our friendships and valued in our relationships. And when we're not given that space to be okay, even when we want to be okay, then, you know, you can't change a person's mind. Let them be who they are going to be and be okay in it. I hope this helped y'all, because I'm getting ready to go to my closing segment. All right. So tonight's closing segment resides in safe space. Okay. Well, before I go on to that, I got a couple comments. So let me see what I got. I don't want to just end it like that. So hold on. Yes. I see you, Pretty Lady Harris. Amen. Learning this. Sometimes people can't give you what you're giving them because they want what you have, or at least they think they do. Breezy, that's a shout, girl. Sometimes people can't give you what you need and what you desire from them because either they want already what you got, or at least they think they do. I tell you this, I work extremely hard for everything that I have. And you and anybody around you can have exactly what you have if they put forth that work ethic and they put forth, they set goals for themselves and they go after them. I am a wreck every time I go on this camera. I am shaking like a leaf, y'all. I can't wait till it's over and them jitters are gone. But that's just, I told you guys, if your dreams don't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. So though I sit here and do this with y'all and eventually I get comfortable in the conversations, just know this, and to Breezy's point, you have to be willing to, you have to understand where a person is coming from, and what a person has does not define them. So learn how you can help them and support them, like y'all are sitting here with me, supporting me, as opposed to thinking that this is ain't nothing about it lavish. The most lavish thing about what I'm doing here is being able to give messages that God has put on my heart. That's the only thing. That's the only reason I'm here, because He told me to do it, and I got to do it. Okay. So I'm gonna close because we get into we went a little long today. So we're gonna go over to safe space this evening, y'all. So if you want a voice at the table and in your relationships, we must do a few things. We must listen to others, right? Refrain from trying to interrupt. Refrain from trying to insert your opinion. Hear a person out just like they should be hearing you out, right? Respect others' points of views. Like I said a moment ago, appreciate them for who they are and what they have, how they have added to you. Because even if a person treats you disrespectfully and just treats you so poorly, that you should be gaining something